So my question to you, if a company clearly doesn't care about its shareholders, how could they possibly care about the drivers?
What's going on, everybody? I hope you were doing well. My name is Zach. Today we're going to talk about Grubhub and if they're going to rise from the ashes or if they're about to go the way of Postmates. Before we get into the video, if you're new around here, please do hit that like and subscribe button. If you are kind enough to subscribe, let me know in the comments section below. Tell me your name and the market you drive in, and I'll be sure to thank you at the end of my next ride-along video. I want to start out by saying that I am not a financial advisor, so nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. Everything that I'm going to share with you today is my own opinions, formulated on information that is readily available to everybody on the internet. This video is going to focus on three main topics: the business itself, the shareholders, and finally the drivers. So make sure to stick around to the end. You're not going to want to miss this. It may seem a little unbelievable if I told you that Grubhub used to have the largest market share and at one point was profitable, but both statements are true. Let's talk about the market share first. In 2015, Grubhub was king with a 70% market share. Fast forward 5 years and that number is down to 22.8 in 2020. That is a net loss of 47.2% in 5 years. By June of 2021, Grubhub had enough, threw their hands in the air, and decided to sell to Just Eat Takeaway for $7.5 billion. For the remainder of this video, I'm going to be referring to them as Jet because it's far less goofy sounding, and it takes way less energy to say. If you don't know anything about Jet, I envy you. I wish I didn't know anything about them either. They're a parent company that owns delivery services in 22 different countries, and now unfortunately, the United States is one of them with Grubhub. Some of Jet's biggest investors were pissed about the acquisition of Grubhub. Up until they purchased Grubhub, they had a sterling balance sheet. They were profitable in almost every market that they were in, until Grubhub came along. As mentioned before, Grubhub used to be a profitable company. However, in just 2 years, they went from posting a $73 million profit to posting a $38 million loss. They managed to do this when everybody was at home ordering food. They managed to lose $38 million in the pandemic. We're not talking about a gradual decline like home phone service or Blockbuster. We're talking 2 years, people. One of Jet's largest shareholders penned an open letter to the company pleading with them to sell the failing delivery service. So what does the CEO do? He did what any good CEO would do. He went on a Dutch financial talk show, said he wasn't going to sell it, and proceeded to announce that they were delisting their company from the American stock market, stripping protections that investors enjoy. Okay, so just to make sure we're all on the same page, we're talking about a company that's hemorrhaging money, a company that has lost the vast majority of its market share in 5 years, a CEO who ignores its shareholders and delists the company from the stock market. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't trade their stock. They can still do over-the-counter, but they no longer have the same financial protections they would have. So Grubhub, and this is where we're going to start to get into more of a rant at this point from the driver's perspective. They just announced that they were starting Grubhub Goods, and that's where they're partnering with, I think they're doing like grocery delivery now, which I haven't actually seen pop up, but I know that they're also partnering with 7-Eleven. It's their answer to Dash Mart, I think is what it's called. They're trying to expand into other markets without fixing the root of the problems. Their customers aren't leaving for no reason, right? They're not just like, oh, well, I don't like orange anymore, so I'm leaving Grubhub. It's not like that. They're leaving because they're waiting on drivers to show up. They're getting cold food. They're having drivers disappear with their order. And it's just an all-around bad experience for the customer, for the driver, for the restaurants. So what I would suggest for them, rather than trying to jump into all these new endeavors, is to fix your platform first and then dive into new endeavors. Somebody in my comment section summed it up the best. Grubhub is a logistics company that sucks at logistics. We're going to come back to that. When Jet bought Grubhub, my market went from a $9 minimum to a $4 minimum. That is a 60% reduction in base pay. It's not like the wait times are any different from when Grubhub was their own thing versus when Jet took over. Their wait times have always sucked. The difference now is it used to be worth the time to wait for those orders. Grubhub consistently had the best orders. I would consistently see 20, 30, sometimes even $40 offers on the weekends. But that's mostly a thing of the past. Sometimes you can still get lucky on the weekends with in the 20s, but anything more than that is extremely rare. I want to know in the comments below. Pause the video for a moment and let me know. Did Grubhub lower your base pay in your market after Jet took over? If they did, let me know what your minimum was and let me know what it is now. I'm dying to know. I digress. It stopped being worth it to accept many of these Grubhub orders. I will decline a $9 Grubhub to a restaurant going 2 miles and then immediately accept an $8 DoorDash from the same place going 3 miles. $1 less, going a mile further. The difference there is I know the DoorDash is going to be ready, whereas I'm going to be waiting 20, 30, 40 minutes for the Grubhub. So now all of a sudden you have less drivers driving for you because we're not getting paid well to do it anymore. We don't want to sit around for 40 minutes waiting on a $10 order. Sorry, we just don't.
Okay, me from 2 days later, change of scenery. Guess why? If you guessed because an engine blew up, you are correct. So I gotta finish this video from home, and we'll be making videos from here until I get the car fixed, so I appreciate your patience in advance. A month or two back, Grubhub announced changes to their scheduling. If you're a Premier driver, they will now do your schedule for you, which is great unless you're not a Premier driver, like most of us aren't. There's still a limited number of blocks that they're pulling from. So when we schedule as partner drivers or pro drivers, those hours have already been picked through Majorly. There are far few hours to pick from now. My advice to you, schedule backwards. Start with Sunday, and then Saturday, and then Friday, so on and so forth. So when you get to Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the days that really don't matter, doesn't matter if you don't get hours because you've got hours on the days that are busy. Now, before Grubhub changed my market minimum from $9 to $4, I could see that you could make an okay living being a Premier driver. But ask yourself, if you take 95% of the orders with a $4 minimum in my market, are you actually making more than minimum wage? I would argue in some cases you're probably not. So what they're doing is they're giving all of the hours to the yes men, the people who are going to take the order no matter what. And they're leaving us informed drivers in the dust. Let's move on to Grubhub's new contract violations. I have a dedicated video on this, and if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out because you could get deactivated for doing nothing wrong whatsoever. I will link that in the description. But all of a sudden, their extremely poorly worded, vague contract violation policy is starting to make a little bit more sense. They're giving themselves the ability to throw an extremely vague contract violation at you for nothing. The way I see it, with this new policy of theirs, they could deactivate almost all of their drivers in a matter of days if they chose to, only leaving the ones that take orders. The policy is extremely subjective, and I have had multiple people in my comments saying that they got a contract violation and they don't even know what they did wrong. So my question to you guys, if a company clearly doesn't care about its shareholders, how could they possibly care about the drivers? So if the unlikely rumors are true and there's some big scary boogeymen from Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber that sit here and watch all the YouTube videos, my advice to you is to fix your platform. Make it so we're not waiting 20, 30 minutes for orders so we get pissed off, unassign them, and go to DoorDash instead. I am so grateful to everybody who has subscribed, who's watched one of my videos, who's hit the like button. Thank you for being here with me. I want to give a special thanks to Angela from Newport Beach, California, Matthew from Brownsville, Texas, Zachary from Wesley Chapel, Florida, Sage from Antarctica, wonder what kind of a car you have, Dawn from California, Dark Ranger 82, Sheila from West Virginia, Urban Rune from Savannah, Georgia, Elizabeth, Blood Zombie 2005, On a Mission, Life with Christine from Washington State, Sue, Kristen, Bill from Northwestern Ohio, Driver Extraordinary from Battle Creek, Michigan, Crazy Cajun from Las Vegas, Mom from New Jersey, from Bradenton, Florida, David from Eugene, Oregon, Vivian from Virginia, Jose, who is also from Virginia, Adam, Zachary from San Antonio, Texas, Ken from Phoenix, Randy from Maryland, Heidi from Atlanta, Georgia, Destiny from Philadelphia, Kelly from Seattle, Laura, All-Star Landscaping 417 from Springfield, Missouri. Last but not least, Michael. A massive thank you to each and every one of you. It is folks like you that keep my channel growing. Thank you all so much. Alright guys, that's the video. Let me know in the comment section if you agree, or if I'm just being a little over dramatic. My name is Zach. If you haven't done so yet, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.